Hi everyone, today we have Anchit with us. So he has secured All India rank 22 in GATE CSE and All India rank 24 in GATE DA, and he has also cracked Google with his final year of BTech. So we will ask about his preparation journey today. So before we move ahead, so can you please give a quick intro of yourself?
Yeah, sure. So you gave half an introduction, I would say. So yeah, like I'm a 2018 BTech pass out from Hindustan College, and like during my final year, I cracked both Google and then HDE one, and here I got like AIR 22 in GATE CS 2018. Then it was a wonderful year for wonderful time for next 2 years in like CSA department. So I am a master's from CSA 2020 pass out. Post that, like I had been in industry with like my internship was with Samsung Research Institute Bangalore. Then I've also worked with Mastercards and Friends Quantify, and currently I'm working with Swiggy as a data scientist too. So yeah, this is a brief, I would say. So yeah, we can continue.
So what motivated you to appear for the GATE exam when you were in your final year?
Yeah, sure. Uh, so yeah, like the motivation came in the first year only when I missed the JE. So like I had decent marks in JE mains, but that wasn't enough. So I was determined enough that I'll get into some good colleges. At the time, ISC wasn't decided. But when during my first semester, I was researching through the internet, which was fairly new at that time for me. So yeah, like CSA came up, and I was just thinking that this is a place that where I should land into, and ultimately it turned out to be true. So yeah, that was all. I was in pursuit of higher education and like getting more formal education in terms of maths and everything. So yeah, that came true 4 years later.
Okay. So like how did you prepare for GATE? You took any coaching or you did self study?
So yeah, like I prepared for GATE entirely through self study. So like during my BTech, I had this habit of always carrying a book, and like many of the people that have scored good ranks in GATE exam, I was compiling their like strategies and all, and I started through all the things that were common between them. So like for example, what are the common books that almost everyone follow or recommend, despite of the fact whether they read it or not. So I brought those books, maybe second hand or new one, and like this is what I was reading during my college. So yeah, this was all this built very strong concepts, but yeah, I wasn't practicing previous year questions at that point of time. So the question practice was, that is what I done in the last year only, like during my final year, but the concepts were strong enough, so that helped a lot.
Okay, great. So, like you cracked GATE with your final year and you also cracked Google. So, like how you managed all these things with your college, like how you prepared for Google and like how you prepared for GATE, like everything, how you managed it.
Yeah, sure. So there was no explicit preparation for Google. So during college, I did two good things, I would say. So I was involved into some research projects at that point of time. Like, and Python was new at that point for everyone, including me. So there were some like genetic algorithms, multi-objective optimization, and these kind of things where I was doing some paper publication. So this is what happened along with the GATE journey. And during this course of time, I also got a strong in programming, so both Python and C++ parallel programming with both of these two languages. So yeah, the hands-on was good at that point of time. And there was a competition from Google at back then, which is now discontinues. I need to recall the name, but yeah, it has five rounds of coding challenges. Incrementally they are more difficult for the Google Fubar. So it was Fubar was there. So I cracked all five levels for that. And like ironically, the last fourth and fifth round allows you per question 3 4 5 days, like quite a lot of time to solve them, but the questions were complex enough. So yeah, this is what I cracked, and then I get this Gator scorecard and everything. Then I approached the recruiters that what was going on. Am I gonna get a follow up and all? And yeah, then everything came up, and like I have these most of the telephonic and video rounds, and so it happened. But the gate result was prior to the Google, I would say.
Okay, amazing. So, like when you were preparing for GATE, so like how many hours you dedicated for GATE, like on daily basis?
Okay, so it will have a brittle answer for sure. Like I wasn't quantifying at that point of time, and when I have tried quantifying things in that manner, like the results were not that good. Fortunately for Gate, the first one worked out for me. So like I had this avid habit of carrying book around during my college, so I used to read around almost every time. Like when I was commuting back and forth from the college, because my college was far from home, so it was 90-minute commute from one side. So around 40 minutes out of it, I was reading when I was waiting on the roadside for a friend of mine, because both of us go together. So at that point of time, I was also reading. So these are the things that you cannot count on, but a lot of time came this way, other way around, like sitting formally in front of laptop or taking books up and all. So yeah, that was it. And but yeah, in the last 3 months, I would say it was desperate. Like it was 10 plus hours daily, 10 to 12 hours, and in bright sunlight on my roof. So yeah, that helps a lot in building good memory.
Okay, so like around how many months you have dedicated to gate preparation, and like how you manage the consistency throughout the preparation, like if you were consistent.
Thanks for adding the last part. I wasn't consistent. So particularly in that, when I was reading books, I was reading books just for my hobby. So for operating system, say for example, I read a book by Naresh Chauhan. This was from Oxford publication. That isn't a standard recommended book for GATE. Then someone told me about Galvin, so I was reading it. All this thing was going on during BTech. Then I got involved into research projects and these kind of things. So the GATE preparation went aside, and like I wasn't focusing entirely on that. In the last 6 months, I realized that okay, this is something that I should now boost my GATE preparation. But also in that, for the first 3 months, I wasn't able to focus. Reason being that there were these experimentation and empirical thing going on for the papers. But then the last 3 months were desperate. So yeah, it was all. I wasn't consistent and all. But in the last 3 months, I was damn consistent. Like no day wasted.
Okay, nice. So, like, what used to be your daily routine? Like, preparing for like you were doing coding also, you were doing gate also. So, what used to be your daily routine?
So I would first highlight the daily routine for the last 3 months because it sounds like a routine. So it was like since during my BTech I'm done with many of the subjects. Like previous year questions, I would like to highlight it is one of the most important part. But I only solved it for the two subjects, which is TOC, Theory of Computation, and Data Logic Design, and that is all I have solved so far. And now you are left with 3 months. So you need to do a lot of things if you wanted to get a good rank. So what I thought of is that okay, this is a 100 marks target, and I need to like basically fail fast. Like as in it is an approach where like suppose DSN algorithms is a high weighted subject, and which is also where my interest lies because I'm a programmer throughout my undergrad. So what I did is like I took that subject first and tried to solve them without reading any material because I believe that my concepts are good. All the concepts that are weak for me, like for example hash tables, which wasn't part of my undergrad syllabus, this is the only thing that I was reading at that moment. And the routine was something of that sort, like in the morning, 8 9 9 a.m. max, I used to like take my carpet books, like previous year question book, some rough papers, no reading material, and two water bottles. I used to take them on my rooftop, and for the entire day I was on my roof, and I used to come down when the sun sets. So yeah, and I was reading things when I was down in my home in the evening, but the entire this daytime of like 6 to 7 hours, definitely this was entirely like desperate practice, and like I was tracking the accuracy and time both. So yeah, there are multiple things that I did, but this 3 month of consistent practice helped me a lot, like compared to what I could have learned in these 3 months and missed out on practice that would have hurt.
Okay, that's amazing. Like, so can you like tell about the resources that you have followed as you did self study? So, what resources you followed for your GATE CSE preparation? We will come to GATE DA, but can you tell about GATE CSE resources first?
So there are many of the sources that people before me, the giants that has already been there, have compiled, like Arjun Suresh sir on Gate Overflow. So there are many books and all those things that these guys have shared. What I was doing through is like during my undergrad also I was a good student but not exceptional. So I was trying to do the best with the minimal resources possible. Say for computer networks there are three books: Forozen, Tenenbaum, and there is another top-down approach something. But the third book, which is the top-down approach by some authors, which I forgot. So that book helped me a lot, and Forazan were entirely out above my head. So these standard books helped a lot. For some of the subjects, like for computer architecture and computer networks, the books were not good enough. So NPTEL lectures, for example, TOC. Uh, like first, I was trying to learn through the Peter Links, which is the easy book, I would say. Then what I did is like my HOD at that time during my undergrad recommended me Kamala Kirtivasan's lecture from IIT Madras. Ma'am is retired now. So yeah, I went through his TOC playlist and also discrete maths, so that helped a lot. And post that, I was able to read books also. For computer architecture, NPTEL lectures by Matthew Jacobson. The title is something high performance computing or something, but it details a lot about pipelining, caching, and all those things. So that helped a lot. Net databases, I did this mistake actually. There was some IIT Kharagpur lectures. They are very old lectures, like 480 or 360 resolution, something of yeah. So I I like learned through this, but many of the concepts have changed over time, so I wasn't able to solve questions for DBMS. So yeah, this is something which I need to relearn, and there was no one to guide me. But yeah, like most of the things, like if you can't read books, NPTEL is a good help. And also, like if you wanted to go more, like there are a few MIT lectures as well, like Introduction to Algorithms, MIT 6006 by like there are two profs and that. So yeah, concept building and like how you explore things in concepts, like without going into like targeting solving numerical first, that helps.
Okay, so thank you for that. So, about practicing questions, so how important do you think PYQs are?
Okay, so I would like to add here that I solved PYQ and nothing else in my this last 3 months. So I actually picked up test series 1 month before. Like basically, I didn't solve any topic wise test, or actually I did for computer architecture. That is the only subject. And what so happened is like I was solving PYQs, and I had this habit that I should solve questions by writing as least as possible, so that I can solve because I have less time. Like 3 months is all I had. So you need to write less and think more. So I was solving a large number of questions, say 20 plus questions on a single sheet of paper, and so PYQ was highly important. Like what I was realizing is that many of the topics that were theoretically important and like you might have learned over time during my undergrad, they are in standard books. GATE doesn't ask them. Like for example, in TOC, PDA to CFL and CFL to PDA, these kind of concepts GATE never ask. So yeah, these kind of things I learned through the PYQs. Like what are the topics that they are consistently asking, what kind of patterns, and like sometimes they play around with you, like by adding some not keyword or something of that sort. These tricks that I was learning my I so yeah, PYQ was a great help. I boosted my confidence out of it, and that actually down the line helped me in the last month, which was January. But I attempted my first mock in January only. So 6th February, I guess 2018 was the exam, and around 4th or 5th January, I was doing my first mock. In mock, I got 34 out of 100, which was a terrible marks at that point of time. But I realized that okay, if I'm doing good on PYQs and my concepts are good, it is only my lack of confidence and taking entire syllabus at once. So the last 1 month I worked on it, and the final exam I scored 77. So yeah, that was a large gap to bridge in 1 month, I would say. So
Okay, so what was your strategy during the exam when you were giving mock tests? So, how you manage both time and accuracy?
okay, so it goes as follows. Like the less you sweat during practice, the more you sweat during practice, the less you bleed in war. So I was tracking my accuracy and timing during while solving PYQs as well. So I had this notion that in GATE exam for 180 minutes you are gonna get 65 questions. So around less than 3 but more than 2.5 minutes per question. So while I was solving PYQ, every 20 PYQ I was trying to say that okay, say 2.5 minutes is given to me, so I should solve 20 questions in 50 minutes. That was my target, which I was doing during my practice. And if I'm way lagging behind this target, suppose not 50 minutes, not 60 minutes, that is taking 120 minutes or something, 20 minutes, 20 questions, then definitely I'm weak with the concepts. It's not about the practice. Accuracy, many people try to shoot for the 90 plus accuracy. I was saying like if you are going 70 plus, you are more than good. 80 is extremely well. Don't target 90 plus accuracy, like target the practice first. And this was all during mock also. Like many people say that okay, we'll tackle easy questions first, hard questions first, maybe this subject like first come first serve serves served best for me, both for gate cs and gate da. So whatever comes to you, try to solve it. If it is easy, very good for you. If it is tough, the question will get back to your mind, so while solving some other question the solution might pop up. So yeah, like this was a strategy while solving mock exams, final exams and all.
Okay, great. So, now, can you throw some light on gate versus placement? So people are confused, like what to do. They should do gate or they should study for placements. And some people also ask how to manage both. So as you have cracked Google and also gate with that too with AI 22. So I think you can answer it well. So
So Google was unimaginable at that point of time. So, and I was also like I had plans of not setting for the campus placements. My mentor at that point of time, who also motivated me for like from first semester onwards, like Mr. Gaurav Pandey is from like NIT Allahabad. So he was my prof, and he told me that okay, you should get at least some placement, so that when other people had placement and you don't have one, it might be a mental issue for you. Like people might be चिढ़ाते हैं लोग and all those things. So for that purpose particularly, I sat for TCS Code Vita, and so even prior to the commencement of 7th semester, I cracked Code Vita interviews and everything. So yeah, that is where I gain confidence that okay, there is a fallback, like that is a what I call it, like a Skynet or something. But yeah, but definitely, when you had an offer from some company which you don't wanted to go, this is another motivation. So no hard feelings, but yeah, that pushed a lot throughout the journey for Gate. And post Gate, like this Google Fubar and everything, and Gate scorecard and these research papers, this all combined into getting placement from Google as well. But I wasn't focusing on to placements. I was more or less like my main focus was Gate exam only, a bit onto the research part. But throughout the all these things that I was doing, I was building my concepts strong, and that helped me everywhere, and they are still helping me.
Okay, so that was amazing. So now, like, you have completed your MTech from ISC, and after that, like, what motivated you to give GATE DA again?
So there was no motivation in particular. Like I love everything about ISC, the good and bad things, or anything in between that happens around ISC. So yeah, this time this exam was conducted by ISC, uh, GATE CS and DA both, which comes every 8 years. So NDA was introduced for the first time, and ISC had this habit that anytime the chance comes to them for organizing exams, be it GATE or JAM, they made drastic changes. For example, in 2016, they dropped entire subjects of web technology and maybe something security related. The subject syllabus was heavily revised, and I liked that at point of time also when I was appearing for 2018. Something similar, like I was working into data science domain. My younger brother was also appearing for GATE CS and DA. Okay, so I thought that okay, I should also fill up the form and let's see how the paper comes out to be the first paper of GATE DA. So that was the only motivation. Yeah, for DA it was a loose motivation. There was no motivation at all. Like you just have to accompany your younger brother, and all it was.
So without any motivation, you got AI at 24. So, like, did you prepare for GATE DA?
Yeah, like as I told you, like when in my undergrad I was preparing for GATE CS, I was building my concepts, and that helped me ultimately. So someone might say that okay, post your final year you have cracked GATE, so you might have definitely prepared. Here also, like throughout my journey, like my masters from ISC in 2018 to 2020, these 2 years, and post that in industry I was reading things, reading papers, books, and all those things. So that was where you are building your concepts, and that helped. Like I didn't explicitly prepared anything for GATE DA. Maybe few discussions that I had with my brother around concepts and all that might have refreshed few things, but yeah, nothing beyond that.
Okay, so like the people who are now preparing for GATE DA, so can you tell about some resources from there, from where they can prepare for GATE DA?
So there are plenty of resources. Like same thing goes here also. Like you cannot study machine learning or AI without like AI. Like in AI, there are multiple algorithms, search algorithms, A star, and everything. If you don't know BFS, DFS, those kind of things from algorithms, it is difficult. Likewise, you cannot learn machine learning without learning the basics of probability, linear algebra, and those things. So I would say start bottom up if you can, until unless you are extremely out of time. And then there are multiple resources. For example, for probability, like there is a course from MIT by John Cisiklis. So for linear algebra, Gilbert Rustring lectures are extremely good. But if you wanted to build an intuition first, video lectures by like video playlist by Three Blue One Brown is great. Then likewise calculus, a small playlist of Three Blue One Brown followed by NCRTs of class 11th and 12th, but differential calculus only. So that is all helped me. For machine learning, there is a book from O'Reilly publication, Hands on Machine Learning. This is a book that I first read while I was in ISC, and I still used to recommend this book for to everyone. So that helped me for machine learning. For AI search methods, there is uh, IIT Madras prof is there, whose lecture are there for AI for AI methods for search. So that is an NPTEL course name. So which I studied. DSN algorithm I already had a strong from my undergrad time, and this was continuing to be so. Python, like no explicit preparation, but again Naveen Reddy's YouTube playlist is quite good, and post that you can read the tutorials from the Python documentation. That is a kind of complete thing, and I have compiled all those resources and I have shared at the GitHub gist. So all those links and topic wise organization and how many hours approximately will take for each of them, like that is listed over there.
Okay, so thanks for that. Like as an experienced in ML, like you were working in ML in industry for like 3 4 years now. So what do you think? Like, what is the future of GATE DA? Like, what will be the opportunities from GATE DA, or is it worth taking GATE DA now?
Yeah, sure. Like I would say entirely it is worth it, because if you wanted to go into ML, it is a very good test of multiple type of concepts that you can possibly face in ML domain. Might be the case that you are working as a data scientist on machine learning algorithms, but you have never touched AI search methods or classical AI approaches. So yeah, like gate DA is something that you should definitely give if you are into this career or you are trying to pursue. uh, Scope is gonna shine over time. Like this time, like this was happened for the first time, so relatively less people also set for it, and also the number of seats that were there in college was lesser. But I guess as more and more colleges become aware, because there are multiple colleges opening separate specialization for machine learning and all, so definitely they should be, and they must be taking from gate DA. Might be the case that they are also taking from gate CSE, but DA would also be there in future. So yeah, this is what I believe in. But yeah, like if you are going into data science with the assumption that okay, I'm bad with computer science and this is how and why I should pursue it, that might be a wrong decision to take. So the conceptually common subjects that you had in between and that are also commonly utilized in industry, you should have a good command on them, even despite of the fact that you might not be attempting either of the gate exams.
Okay, so can you throw some light on Gate CSE versus Gate DA? Like, what are the pros and cons of giving Gate CSE or Gate DA?
So for Gate CSE, the pros is that like there are larger opportunities as of now, and for the next 1 or 2 years that might also remain the case. The cons is that like the syllabus is comprehensive, and you might not get to use all the subject that you will study in there. For Gate DA, there is no subject that you can like escape. Like in industry, within next 5 years, you will get stuck with any of the subjects that you will possibly learn. For Gate CSE, there are subjects that are theoretical in nature. They are very good if you wanted to go deep into computer science, like theory of computation, compilers, and all those things. But you might not need them in industry. But yeah, that is something that I had. But like if you had enough time, like anything close to or more than a year, you should prepare for the common subjects first, because they carry high weightage for both exams, and then you can decide for yourself. But if you are confused enough, don't decide like that one over the other.
Okay, so like for someone who is preparing for Gate CSE, would you recommend them to take Gate DA also? Like to give the Gate DA exam also?
So if you are currently preparing, an exam is due by like 2 months, I guess, 2.5 months or something. Like there is 15 days of gap in between. So definitely you should appear for Gate DA. Like at least see that okay, what kind of concepts are there, because this year like the ML concepts were quite basics. There was a question that okay, which among the four data set is linearly separable. Anyone without any knowledge of machine learning would be able to say that okay, there are two classes, can I draw a straight line between them? So this kind of question was there this year, because gradually the level of exam will become tough. For CSE it is already like at par, but DA is increasing and it will catch up. So yeah, you should definitely attempt. But if you're already, and this point of time, if you're already preparing for CS, don't switch to DA. You will get 2 weeks of time post 1st of February. So anything that you try to add on top of what you had for CSE, you can learn over there. Python you can try, because either way you are gonna requiring that for a lot of things.
Okay, so like you've cracked Gate CSE and then you came to ISC. So what motivated you to go towards machine learning?
Cool. So nothing in particular. So I was more of a systems guy. I was interested into compilers, networks, databases, operating systems, architectures, and those during my college. But I had this for my research projects. I was working with evolutionary algorithms like genetic algorithms, artificial bee colony, particle swarm, these kind of methods, and I was implementing them from scratch. So I know that okay, these kind of intelligence-based methods, these were nature-based intelligence methods, not machine learning in particular. But I know that they can solve quite a lot of problems feasibly or approximately that you cannot solve from classical AI algorithms. So this is where my interest lies in. Then I got selected from for internship with Samsung Research Institute, Bangalore. And prior to that, like hmm, I didn't like during the interview process, which was post first time. So I didn't have any subjects for ML in particular. Linear algebra and probability is all I had studied through. But during my internship, I got a task for like directly an image to image generation network. So it is a fully convolutional network for super resolution. So this is where when I was reading thing, I realized that okay, this is something doable and you don't need to code everything from scratch. Keras and TensorFlow were quite popular at that point of time. So this is where my interest began, and I realized that okay, these are like equally or more powerful algorithms than evolutionary computing. And yeah, so I gradually migrated in the field. But still my master's project is in databases, so because you cannot like switch so sudden, and like there are still interest for system side as well along with machine learning for me.
Okay, okay. So, like someone who is planning to pursue a career in machine learning and they're planning to give GATE CSE, like giving GATE CSE and then taking admissions into IIT or ISC and then going in the machine learning field. So, do you think like studying those GATE CSE subjects is worth it?
uh, Controversial question at first. So if you have studied them a bit and you already know some basics but you might hate them subjects, I would say study them well because they help a lot. Like basically there are some projects in industry that I was doing, and since I have studied theory of computation, I was able to design the solution for that problem as a state machine. And had you not been through that concepts, like you will write the very same code down the line, but you will not have an abstract concept at the first place. So likewise compilers also help a lot, like how computer languages might be working. Like most of my Python knowledge and expertise come from the fact that I used to tinker around with the Python, that I what I can do beyond what is given already in the documentation. So these kind of things, like yeah, these some people hate these subjects a lot, but until unless you hate the entire CSE, like if you hate almost all the subjects, you shouldn't switch, and you might be in the wrong career path. But yeah, if you like the common subjects a lot, read them well, and but try to still read these uncommon subjects because the number of opportunities from CSE is less, like much higher compared to DA. And also DS, which you can do later on as well, because for the next 5 years I believe no college would be blocking DA opportunities for gate DA people only. So yeah, that's the case. But if you can't do compilers, TOC, computer networks in detail, and you have very strong inclinations and interest towards machine learning, then only you should pursue for gate DA. And for the people that are running out of time, like 2.5 months, if you are kind of well with both, stuck to the CSE.
Okay, great. So, like you've cracked Google in your final year. So, what motivated you to do MTech? Like, why didn't you join Google at that time?
So basically, my beliefs, like from the first time onwards, I had this belief that I should, not for a tech point of view, but I should get into the best colleges possible, like to see what kind of environment is there, what new I can learn from there. So that curiosity was always there. The role I was offered from Google was an SDA one, which might be a good role for people. But what I was thinking through is like, let's begin from something good and have some more strong fundamentals that what I individually built during my undergrad. So that was a primary driving factor. Another driving factor was that I attended Swagatam, which was an event where top 30 people were invited from Gate CSE, and I got to discuss a lot with multiple profs at CSA and seniors. Then I realized that okay, corporate you can join anytime, and like definitely I also had plans for PhD and all those things. But yeah, I had this plan that like many of the people comes for masters, like while they have some experience in between their undergrad and masters. I had this plan that okay, I'll do the same between my masters and PhD, but yeah, master should be in a continuous loop.
Okay, great. So, like, how your life changed after GATE? Like, doing MTech from ISC. So, after that, like, how your life changed, and yeah, like, can you throw some light about that?
There are a lot of changes. The first I would like to mention is that like Swagatam was a wonderful event. So I discussed with people 2 years senior to me, and I asked them that okay, what should I learn before coming to ISC, because I realized that the pressure is gonna be immense, and like anything that I can prepare beyond what I have learned so far for the gate, that might help. Those people recommended to me that you shouldn't prepare anything because they are gonna rub you like a soap. That turned out to be true. So that was one major change, that most of your we initially we were thinking that okay, Saturday Sunday college used to be an off, but yeah, those 2 days are reserved for doing all the assignments that you are lagging behind. So the pressure was immense, but it contributed in a lot of ways, like as in you were able to stitch concepts together from different subjects, which was partially there post my undergrad for gate preparation. But now you can see completely that okay, how two entirely different subjects connect together, and what are the projects that you can discuss with multiple profs, and what are the good resource people that you can discuss concepts and all those things. Earlier I was working in isolation, and that wasn't a good place to be. So that was a primary change, I would say. From a career point of view, yeah, the number of opportunities that you had from ISC or like any of the top IITs and ITs, these are wonderful compared to what you can get from like, until unless you are extremely brilliant and you can like you have this potential of cracking everything on your own, like then that might be a good idea. But if you are an average or above average student, like this is a more better way to take up. And beyond that, like the kind of things our seniors or our profs are working on, that also opens a door for a lot of things that are going on around in the world, because internet gives you the garbage but not the actual things that are going around. So yeah, I see helped a lot in those things. And one of the final thing that I would like to highlight is that during undergrad I used to look at research papers in a way that okay, these are research papers published at good venues, they must be good. And my mentor here at ISC, who is also my guide, he has this critic mentality, in which is very good, I believe. So now I criticize every paper, all like one of the top papers in the world, like there are caveats in that, and ISC gave you an thinking that you can easily spot them within 5 to 10 minutes. Earlier maybe 5 months wasn't enough time. So yeah, like that is a major change, and I believe that is going to continue and contribute in my career for next 2 or 3 decades to come.
Okay, okay. So, like, how is the academics different in IITs and ISC, like compared to your BTech college? What do you think about that?
My BTech college was a school, so you need to wear uniform. You need to have 70% attendance. You cannot. There are some colleges. My college wasn't that strict enough, but there are some colleges as well where you cannot, despite being a CSE student of BTech, which is an core engineering course, you cannot carry your laptop to the college. So there are venues like that. So that was an entirely school-like curriculum. But there are good things to there as well. Like as in like IC also, like for some time in ISC I felt that I am surrounded by people much more smarter than me, and sometimes it is not always good for you. For BTech, like since I was working in silos and I was reading everything by my own, I was superior than 95% of the people. That also gave me some fake sense of confidence for those 4 years. So yeah, that also helped, but both were wonderful experiences. I would say had it not been the case that my undergrad college throw up like a lot of challenges at me, but at the same time providing some very good mentors, like I wouldn't had been in ISC. So yeah, ISC is good for concepts, but there are a lot of things that you need to learn about life before coming to here.
Great. So, like having experienced in the industry for a significant time now, what do you think? Like doing MTech from top IITs or ISC is worth it, or like thinking about the career opportunities and growth? Do you think it is worth it?
So yeah, it is absolutely worth it. There are exceptional people who have this ability of cracking everything from their own. So from them, like even for some people, a proper graduation isn't required, but 99% of the people doesn't fall into that category. So despite it might be the fact that you are an unpolished diamond, and you might get a chance to shine at some good colleges when you are being properly mentored from your seniors and professors at good colleges like ISC. So that is the one reason. The second reason is like with this competing market that is out there, and we are seeing like multiple layoffs and all these career opportunities declining post COVID, due to a number of reasons that I wouldn't go into. But yeah, many of the companies I have seen in like for good positions, like especially in data science or maybe senior software development and all, like they have made masters kind of compulsory. So like if you are coming with a lot of experience and but you don't have a master's from some good college, like there will be a tight scrutiny on you. So yeah, like as I mentioned, if you are among those exceptionals, you might get a chance. But yeah, this is a good way to have on your resume. Like people will get to know how knowledgeable you are once they talk to you. But if you never get a chance to talk to them, like that would be a filter out. Like you will be filter out, which isn't good, I would say.
Okay, so thanks for that. So, like coming towards the end, can you give some tips for the GATE aspirants who are currently preparing for GATE, or for like someone who is preparing for both GATE and placements?
Yeah, sure. Like if you are currently preparing for GATE and if GATE exam, and if you are in a final year, around 2.5 months or maybe 3 months if you are for DA, this is all you had. So I would say go full into it. So for some people, there might be university exams colliding with it. I also had the same in 2017. So my university exams, I wasn't preparing for them, and like since I am from a tier 3 college, the university exams were kind of theoretical in nature. Like anything you write, if it is conceptually kind of sounding, like you get some good marks. So someone from my batch undergrad told me that okay, यूनिवर्सिटी एग्जाम्स का पढ़ाई तो सुबह सेंटर पे जाके होता है, एंड आई टुक दैट थिंग सीरियसली सिंस आई वाज entirely focused on gate exam. So yeah, up like I used to have exams in 2 to 5 in the evening, and up till 12 a.m. A day prior I was studying for the gate exam up till the midnight. Then I sleep, and morning I wake up and I go to the center very early. Like exam was from 2, but I used to be there in center around 11, and all these 3 hours I was mugging through these exam guides and all, because exams of your undergrad are also important, because if you get some back and all these kind of like compartment or whatever we used to call them in undergrad, like you will not get a chance to, like, despite of maybe you are a year one, you will not get a chance to see your masters for that particular year. So yeah, for one subject particular, that was AI, ironically. So I wasn't able to understand what was given in that 60 or 70 page guidebook kind of for my university exam. So I was weeping my eyes out. So yeah, like that is also one thing that you should focus on. And if 2.5 months is all you had, like I would say you can put placement preparation aside, because like gate by itself is a quite challenging task, and devote the entire time as much as possible to gate DA. But also be smart, like don't like I would say fail fast, like take 4 or 5 days, do whatever best you can do and see what maximum you can shoot onto, and never lose the confidence. Many of the people do this exam, like this is one of the tip again, that like many people had this mindset that this subject is strong for me, this is my weak subject, this topic is strong, weak, and all those concepts. Don't go with this mentality, because say for me algorithms is a strong subject and computer networks is a weak subject. If I go with this mentality, there might be a question, or so due to this mindset and shortage of time, I might entirely skip the computer networks subject. And if I do that, there might be a trivial or near trivial question for computer network, but I skip that question because I haven't studied it or I wasn't confident. And there might be an extremely difficult question for algorithm, and but I will take it personally on my ego, because this is something I did. I spent 15 minutes for one question on matrix chain multiplication in GATE 2018. So, and I wasn't able to solve it in time. I was doing some errors, and there was another silly question. Like I was teaching everyone the same concept, but yeah. There are a lot of silly mistakes that you can do, so possibly spread them across all the subjects. If you skip them, like you will do the silly mistakes in the only subject that you are taking up, and eventually like everyone is gonna score above you. So that is kind of some other like popular mentors also say that you should definitely score onto the questions where most of the people are scoring, and you should try to score onto the questions where other people can't, but don't try to play the opposite game. Definitely you're gonna like fall flat on your face.
Okay, so that was amazing. So thank you so much, Jit, for your time, and like it was amazing to know about your journey. So thank you so much for your time, and yeah, thank you everyone.